guys, we are back with another video. Before we get into the video, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Now, as we know, Nicki Minaj did Vogue Italy. And with that being said, some fans are speculating that she is shading Megan and other female rappers in her Vogue interview for whatever reason. Nicki Minaj was asked about new music and her upcoming album, her 6th album. And she said, I have a lot of songs, but I don't want to be in a hurry. I want the record to mean something for the fans and for me. I never be the one of those people who release songs just to do so. I love music. I respect it. Okay. Now, a lot of fans feel like she's throwing subliminal shade at Megan. A lot of people believe Megan drops too much. Same thing with like a scratch off. But I don't really feel like it was shade. I feel like it's important for artists to take their time and not oversaturate. That's one of the reasons why Champagne Thickums is in the position that he's in now. He's one of the artists that oversaturates and will just drop anything. No shade. And then when people get sick and tired of you, and you know, the industry start getting sick and tired of you because you overly drop, and then some of the songs, most of the songs will be mid, then you don't get the same type of push, or your music ain't valued the same the older you get, okay, or the longer you're in the game. Same thing with the Chart Obsessed Racist. She overdrops all the time. She oversaturates with a bunch of her music. So I feel like that could be directed at anybody. I don't feel like it's just Megan. Plus, at the end of the day, it's not like Megan sells. I think the fans have made it evident that they want Megan to go on a musical hiatus. Let's be very clear. But she also said in her interview, a superstar is a superstar. And if you are one, you'll find a way to shine with or without social media. Today's artists don't realize how important the record label is. They don't realize how much happens behind the scenes. It all looks so easy. So that could be shade towards a lot of different people. But a lot of fans feel like she's shading Megan, the Cardi B's, the scratch offs. You know, no shade of Megan, Cardi B, and scratch off. I don't think that they could survive as an artist without social media, especially Cardi B, because Cardi B don't drop enough to survive without social media. Let's just be honest. She just doesn't. So, you know, I feel like that could have been subliminal shade, but definitely not what she said about releasing, you know, an album and not rushing things. I don't feel like that was shade, but this could be shade at a lot of different artists because a lot of them can't survive without TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. Let's be very clear, especially Scratch Off. Scratch Off, that is her niche. She's been on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, pushing that Nobody record, which is currently flopping on the charts, and is still bumbling under. Okay, so imagine if she didn't have social media to promote her record. How would it get out? Because RCA, the colorist, damn sure ain't promoting it. And that's another thing that she's kind of saying is that the label is important, that you just can't rely on social media for your record to be big. You know, the label definitely has that button that they will push to make a record big, you know, and that's just honest truth. Now, Cardi B is scared of her own fans. Unfortunately, Garbage Gang has been harassing Cardi B for her album. They have now started a petition for Cardi B to release her sophomore album on the official Change website. What a waste. Now, the real petition, not the fake one, but the real petition only has 360 signatures. And they are trying to get it to 1,000 signatures. Wow, only 20. No, they wrote like 2 long-ass paragraphs that we definitely not reading. But Cardi B has responded. She said, I'm seriously scared of y'all, and I'm upping my security. How do you up your security just because your fans want an album? Okay? Now, you know, people could say, oh, she's just joking. No, I think she's dead ass serious. I think she's hoping that she never has to put out this album because she don't want it to flop. And if she don't put out the album, I can see a Barty Gang member trying to offer or kill her or stab her. I can see that. They are psychotic and they don't have much lives. No shade. I mean, if you're going to stand Cardi B, a few screws must be loose because she's one of the worst female rappers ever. Okay? She has little to no talent. The fact that, she even had the amount of push and accolades that she does is, blasphemy, in my opinion. I'm like, we've had way more talented female rappers that never got half the recognition that Cardi B did. But Cardi B was a stripper from the Bronx, a Latina stripper from the Bronx. So I know that the industry was all excited. Plus, as we can clearly see, she'll do anything for a man or money. So with that being said, I can only imagine what she did to sign that deal to Titanic Records. No shade. Now, moving on from that, Nicki Minaj showed love to Billie Eilish in Vogue Italy. She says she like Billie Eilish. She like everything that she does. She also bigged up Sabrina Carpenter and said that she didn't know that Sabrina Carpenter was doing music as long as she has been doing music because she just became mainstream. So she also showed love to Sabrina. I wouldn't mind a Sabrina Carpenter collaboration, but I feel like, like I said before, Sabrina's not Nicki Minaj's peer. And I definitely wouldn't mind a Billie and Nicki collaboration. She sampled Billie on Pink Friday too, but that really wasn't a collaboration in my opinion. I want original music that, they put together in the studio for the first time together. That's what I would like to see happen. Now, moving on from that, Gorilla Glue has successfully replaced Megan Thee Stallion. She is collaborating with J-Hope. Their new single, Killing It Girl, will be released June 13th. As we know, that is Megan Thee Stallion's lane, working with the Korean and Asian artists. Now, Doechii, Nicki Minaj also have, collaborations with Korean artists. So does Scratch Off. But Megan Thee Stallion has the most collaborations with Korean artists, okay? She's collaborated with a good amount of them. And so I think that this is Gorilla Glue moving strategically to move into Megan Thee Stallion's lane, okay? Think about it. She was beefing with Megan for the last week and a half, and now you announce that you're working with a Korean artist. That's very interesting. Now, J-Hope did say that he was inspired by Sexy Red and Doechii, which, in my opinion, it really means that he wants to pander to the black community. He wants them to support him. That's what it gives, and it's really no shade. I feel like there's really nothing you can be inspired by Sexy Red. There's nothing you could be inspired by. So saying that she's inspiring you, you're just pandering. Because Sexy Red is not an inspiration to anybody. Let's be very clear. Neither is Gorilla Glue. But I think this is a strategic move because at the end of the day, a lot of Korean artists, they do like to collaborate with black artists. And it helps boost their streams. Okay? Now, moving on to No Spice. It has been reported that allegedly Ice Spice is coming back. She will be on the Fairy remix. Now, if you don't know, the Fairy remix is very popular on TikTok. I'm sure you've heard it. She was a fairy. And with that being said, My Yap, the person that sings the song, or raps the song technically, tweeted an ice and a spicy emoji, alluding that Ice Spice could be on the remix. I'm like, I can hear Ice Spice on it, but I'm like, I don't know if I care, because I wasn't really listening to the record like that anyway. I only would hear it on TikTok and on social media, but I wasn't really streaming the record or nothing like that. So I really don't care if she's on the remix or not. I feel like Ice Spice, she sees that she's falling off, so she's going to be doing a lot of collaborations, because if she don't do a collaboration, she probably won't chart to save her life. And that's just the honest truth. Now, moving on to Botch and Bitter. Now, Botch and Bitter, since it was exposed that there was coke on the boat with her and STEF0N and the hoes, now she is trying to push the narrative that they were filming a music video. Okay, they're trying to push the narrative that they were filming a music video instead of partying, because Stefon Diggs had two of his concubines, Cardi B and another girl, twerking, dancing on each other, and doing the alleged coke. Now, with that being said, Cardi B's makeup artist did post that she was on set, okay? So, let me know how y'all feel about that. In my opinion, I think it's a bunch of baloney. That was no damn music video. That was a Diddy party. Okay, stop. That was no damn music video. That was a Diddy party. Since when do y'all have coke on set for a music video? Well, Diddy probably had that. Probably had a lot of different, substances and drugs. And didn't Cardi B admit to drugging and robbing men? So maybe that's how she gets down, but I think it's a bad look. Now, because Stefon was exposed for doing the alleged coke on the boat, which was exposed on video, fortunately, this might affect his NFL career. The head coach for the New England Patriots, Mike Vrabel, put out a statement regarding the viral Stefon Diggs video on a boat with several women in bags of pink powder. He said, "It's something that we're aware of. Obviously, we want to make great decisions on and off the field. And unfortunately, Stefon Diggs was not at the OTAs yesterday." That stands for Organized Team Activities, okay? Now, I think what Mike and the NFL organization should do is drug test Stefon Diggs every week for the next year. He clearly is a cokehead. Why would you bring in the pink coke for the hoes to snort with you and Cardi B if you wasn't a cokehead? Okay, only cokeheads do that. They trying to say, "Oh, we was filming a music video." Nope, that was a Diddy party. Sorry, okay? That was probably a lot of orgies, a lot of, sexual activities going on over there. I don't really believe that they was just partying and playing hopscotch. They was twerking, doing the pink coat, dotting and bopping, all sleeping with each other. That's what happened, okay? Let's be very clear. And with that being said, Stefon Diggs has a history of being sneaky and closeted, okay? If you guys remember, Stefon Diggs got in his Diddy bag a few years ago and beat up a man, got a man named Chris Griffins beat up because the man turned down his sexual favors, okay? So he's Diddy Jr. in my opinion, okay? Because I feel like Diddy would do something like that. So we gonna call him Stefon Diddy. From now on, that's his new name. Stefon Diddy and Cassië Jr. And with that being said, both Cardi B and Stefon Diddy will be receiving 500,000 lashes for lying about this alleged Diddy sex party that they threw and trying to pass it off as a music video. We don't believe you, okay? So Stefon Diddy and Cassië Jr. will be receiving 500,000 lashes. Now, moving on to Tate Murray, her new single, Keep Watching from the F1 movie, is receiving some backlash. She decided to put out a teaser for the music video, and fans are calling her inauthentic. They are saying that after the whole MAGA stunt, like, girls stick to making music for your conservative fans, we're not hungry. Okay, so it looks like Tate Murray has lost some of her fans. Collaborating with Morgan the Racist, okay? Now, here's the thing. I think Tate, she's young, and a lot of times the younger female artists, they don't always have the proper guidance on how to move in the industry. We saw Walmart Beyonce collaborate with Chris Breezy, the colorist, and get dragged. Same thing with, the Ckiminaj. She got dragged, and Normani was in his music video and got dragged. Supporting a abuser is a risk, or supporting a person that doesn't have the best reputation is a risk, okay? And I think with Tate, her management is really to blame. They should have said, yeah, the song might do well on the charts, but at the end of the day, it will affect your music after that collaboration no longer is popular, or people are no longer talking about it. And I feel as though Tate Murray felt as though Morgan the Racist, because he dominates on the charts, it was a smart idea, but it backfired on her. And I think any woman that wants to collaborate with Morgan the Racist is just dumb, because it's not like he's attractive. One thing about Chris Breezy, the colorist, something he got under his belt is he can dance and he's somewhat attractive. Not to me, but some of you hoes probably think that he's attractive. Not really me. But the point of the matter is he's better looking than Morgan the Racist. Morgan the Racist is ugly. Like, completely. There's nothing good looking about him. Most of the male country artists are ugly. So to me, I just feel like, Tate Murray being a pretty girl, like, you could have collaborated with anybody. Why him though? No shade. I feel like, he's ugly. Yes, he charts high, but other than that, he ain't really got much going for himself. And y'all don't have the same fan base. I can understand if you guys had the same fan base, but y'all don't. Okay, you appeal to like the gays, the girlies, the younger generation, and he appeals to like the rednecks, the hillbillies, and the racist white people. So I don't really understand why they collaborated, but it's really her management fault, and she needs to fire them. Now, moving on from that, it was reported in the Diddy trial, we got to get to some things, okay, quickly, that Capricorn Clark, who used to be Diddy's assistant, told Cassië that she needed to get away from Diddy, and that Cassië responded by saying, Camel Toe is already taken, aka Queen B's husband. Okay, who else can she date? Okay, now, allegedly, Queen B is not happy about this at all, because obviously we know that Camel Toe has a history of infidelity and cheating on Queen B. So Queen B is not happy about this, even though obviously Cassië and Camel Face did not date, okay? Keyword date. That's all I'm going to say about that. But with that being said, though, I feel like that didn't even make any sense what Cassië said by saying, oh, well, who else can I date? Camel Face is already taken. Didn't you date Michael B. Jordan and Kid Cudi? Okay, they weren't billionaires. Why you feel like you only can date a rich man? You married to Alex Fine now, and he don't got as much money as Diddy or Camel Face. So I'm confused by why she even mentioned his name in the first place. That was given a little bit thirsty. I understand that Cassie's a victim, but I feel like it was a little bit thirsty to say, well, Camel Face is already taken. Like, Camel Face is not the only other billionaire in the world. Let's be very clear. And on top of that, a lot of the other men that you dated aren't billionaires. So I don't understand why you just mentioned, Camel Face's name. Maybe she thought Camel Face was going to save her and protect her from Diddy. But at the end of the day, I feel like Cassië has to realize that, she probably, and this is just my opinion, would have gotten a lot farther if she just tried to do things on her own. Like, instead of trying to have a man save. It's coming off as she needs a man to save her. Like, she just can't save herself. Instead of trying to plan and plot to escape by saving herself, it's like she had to run into a man's arm to get saved. I mean, to mention Camel Face, go from Kid Cudi, Michael B. Jordan, then just to go back to Diddy after being with them. And then on top of that, even before she was with Diddy, she was with Ryan Leslie, who was helping her with her music career and not abusing her. And she left Ryan Leslie for Diddy. Okay, so even before Diddy, it was like she had to be attached to a man. It's better off for women, especially nowadays, to save themselves instead of relying on a man. A man will disappoint you every single time. But that's all I had to say about that. I just thought that was a little bit weird. Talking about who else she can date. I'm like, Camel Face, why him? I mean, I didn't get that. you know, because all the other men you've dated weren't billionaires. But anyway, I got some very hot tea on Patreon. Link will be in the description. Have a great day.